Welcome to the podcast. I'm Abby,
And I'm Liliana.
and we're going to talk about the book Animal Farm by George Orwell. So, to start off, what was your first impression after you read it?
My first impression was that, I thought it was a really good book. And I enjoyed the take it had on basically turning like Stalin's leadership into a more relatable story.
Mm-hmm. Was there any particular character that stood out to you?
I really liked Boxer. He was kind of the backbone of most of what happened. He kept a lot of the animals going during the tyranny they were facing. I also liked the donkey or mule or whatever he was.
Benjamin?
Yeah, I also liked Benjamin because at the end he was talking with Maisie.
I think it was Clover.
Clover? Who knows? He was talking.
Clover.
He was talking with Clover at the end, and they were talking about how we're screwed.
Mm-hmm. So, what themes with the book that resonated with you the most? That were the most memorable?
The most memorable theme for me was probably, what even would a theme of the book be?
I think it demonstrates how people crave power, and even no matter what their starting motivations are, it'll always lead to absolute power leads to greed.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess the long-standing theme was how any power, however big or small, always leads to corruption and the manipulation of others.
What do you think, connecting it to the real life, how do you think Animal Farm teaches us about human nature, society as a whole?
So Animal Farm kind of shows how easily it is, or how easy it is to corrupt other humans if you remove their sense of self, if you remove their ability to learn, to think for themselves, then they just have to conform with the unit and they're easier to control.
So with this book's themes, do you think it would be possible for in real life to avoid corruption like that?
I think most people don't even know corruption is happening until it's too late. In the book, they don't even realize it's corruption until they see at the very end the humans saying to the pigs that they are doing a great job because they've basically gotten them to work for worse conditions than they were.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty similar to what's happening now. People see it now, but it's kind of too late to do anything about it.
Yeah, because what are you going to do? Riot and then go to jail?
Yeah. I mean, they literally protested recently. Do you see anything coming out of that?
Yeah, you can't find it on the news anywhere or anything.
So has reading it changed how you view politics, or just
It has changed how I viewed quite a few things. We recently read that book in class, All the Light We Cannot See. And just seeing from Warner, the German boy's perspective, he's they keep telling us how great the war is going, and he doesn't really believe it. But as long as you say these things and it's slightly believable, then you've already convinced everyone. And that's kind of a reoccurring theme in Animal Farm.
So what part of the book do you think people should take as a message now?
I think that people should read the book and memorize the signs of corruption and being manipulated so that you can keep yourself from being controlled.
Okay, if you could ask George Orwell a question about the book now, or even from his other book, 1984, what would you ask?
I would ask where he came up with the idea to make it animals on a farm, because he could have just made The Handmaid's Tale. She used humans, and it demonstrated all of that with humans. So I would just ask him, why animals? Why not humans?
I wonder if it's I don't know how to explain it. I read the intro, but it's I wonder if it's a simpler way to say it, or if it, I don't know. I guess humans kind of are in a way like that.
Yeah. Or maybe it just catches you off guard with oh, this can't possibly be about corruption. It's just animals. And then it's literally about corruption.
Yeah, one of the segments in the intro were like people saw this as a fairy tale, but at what point, like, is it, or is it just like something like more than that?
Yeah.
Do you draw parallels between the leadership of Napoleon and any modern day political systems?
I think you can draw connections between Napoleon and Trump because you see constantly in the beginning Napoleon disagreeing with Snowball over the mill. And then you can draw the connection with Trump disagreeing with literally everybody over everything. And while in the book the mill might be beneficial, it's the fact that it wasn't Napoleon's idea in the first place, so we shouldn't do it.
So do you see any similar ways to how information in a farm was controlled and manipulated to like today's information, like what you see on the news or anything?
Yes, I think it correlates very well. When you ask anyone in another country what they've learned in world history, you realize that us in America, we know nothing. Our information is very much changed and corrupted to suit those in society. Like in the Civil War. The Civil War was about slavery, but the South doesn't want to be associated with that. So we've kind of changed it to add in a couple other factors that might overshadow the fact that they had a war over keeping slaves.
Mm-hmm. And it's crazy that you see it in like any part of the world, because especially in like countries like North Korea, like the communists, or like Russia, like you see like all this information that they hide from like literally everyone in there.
Yeah, because if you can't see what the world outside of your country is like, then you're going to think that your country is the greatest, and then you're going to stay there. As soon as you start getting new ideas, then people want to make a change.
Mm-hmm. How do you think the book would be different if it was set in like modern day?
If it was set in modern day, it'd probably be more like another book called Eden, where basically politicians were fighting over the fact that there were too many women, and women were upset about the patriarchy, and so they tried to overthrow it, and it just was not working out. The government was trying to control abortions of male fetuses, so you had to have male children, and they were trying to abort female fetuses, so there would be more males than females. And after this whole war broke out, there was a sacred place called Eden where women just lived happily together, and and there's men just scavenging for food, scavenging for women, scavenging for literally anything. And they have yet to come together and create a paradise like Eden.
That's actually like crazy, because that's what happened in China. Like they are a shortage of women, because I don't know. Well, first they have an entire thing where you can only have 2 children, and usually like they keep the males instead, because I don't know if it's true, but I think it's because of their military. They want more males, but like the population is like kind of dwindling because of that.
Yeah, I did a research paper in 7th grade on the one-child policy, where they only let people have one child because the population was like exploding, and families mostly kept the males because males run the family home. Males can work basically anywhere. Females, they're not, in the culture at the time, they weren't really good for anything other than breeding and selling and all that. So they mostly wanted male children, and so they would just leave their child up for adoption, leave it on the streets, wouldn't claim it as their own. And you'd also have people giving birth to twins, and you had to get rid of one. They'd typically keep the male.
Even when it was made, it can like be compared to anything in any year.
It's still applicable forever. Yeah.
And like you'd think it wouldn't be, because it's such an old thing. It's like, how are we not like gotten better?
If the system works, the system works. I mean, Why change a good thing? Well, it's not good, but like.
And especially with Boxer's death, with him representing the working force and how they just killed him off. I see that a lot in like like now with the tariffs and all, like 158% tariff that we're going to have to pay for.
Yeah, definitely. And it doesn't affect like Trump's rich friends, the people in the government, the people who have influence, the people who have money to be able to survive through tariffs, through a depression, through a succession. Those are the people that are not taking any of the brunt. So then when the working class has to deal with it, we are all just cooked.
Yeah, not to mention that most of his friends have allegations
Yeah.
with proof.
Yup. Oh my God. It's insane. It's like putting a murderer in office. Oh, we'd never do that. Or like Napoleon turning everyone against Snowball and saying, oh, Snowball's like making a revolution. Snowball's like the reason why our crops are bad. Oh, Snowball's the reason this happened. Snowball's probably not anywhere near. He's probably in a different country. Like he is no longer, but if you have a face of evil and you associate all evil with that face, you have something to blame, and it's not yourself. It's like Hitler placing the blame for literally everything on Jews.
Mm-hmm.